Hey, welcome to Outsmart Your Guitar. Glad you could join us. Today, in part 10 in Early Help in Your Soloing Abilities, is part 2 in scale patterns, in which we're going to focus on the pentatonic major scale. So you'll have a new progression to learn and put into your looper as well. So let's just get right to it, and be sure to like and subscribe to Outsmart Your Guitar along the way. Let's look at the progression that you're going to need to learn and record into your looper so that you can practice the pentatonic major scale pattern over a progression. We have a G, we have a B minor, a C, E minor, and D. I'm playing all first position chords to give it a more jangly pop sound and or the more modern country feel. All right, so the strum pattern is basically the same for the first 3 measures, and we're using the steady state principle, strumming to 8, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so you're in constant motion. So the first measure is G, so 1 goes to and, play 2 and. Now, you'll see a tie between the and of 2 and 3, which means 3 is ghosted, allowing the and of 2 to ring through the first half of the 3rd beat, come back in on the and of 3, 4, ghost and. Then you go to B minor and do the same thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Go to C, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, the 4th measure is a little different. 1 and mute 2 with a palm mute, and then on the and of 2, come back in on D, and ghost 3, and 4, ghost and. So here's what you're going for. 1, pretty straightforward. So pause, work this out, get everything working right, smooth it out, put it to a metronome, and get it further smoothed out. Then record it into your looper at a tempo that bears in mind your facility playing lead guitar. So if you're not real fast, play the progression a little bit slower. You don't really want to go super fast, more than 100 beats a minute, because you want to focus on what you're learning here. So it benefits you to maybe record at a little slower tempo than you might normally play it, so you can work things out a little more deliberately. On screen, you see the pentatonic major pattern. We're in G, of course, because the progression is in G. So we start with G at the 3rd fret of the 6th string. And right away, you'll see by the little red arrow, you're going to shift up 2 frets to A. And then play from there, right like that. So pause and take a minute to get your fingers comfortable making this shift and playing the pattern overall. I know I ask such difficult things of you. Now you see you have the original pattern we just had you play through. And the next thing you do is move over to the 4th string at the 5th fret, which is the root again. Shift up 2 frets. Play the exact same pattern. Now I'm dwelling on the root just to kind of reinforce the key. But what you want to do is play it nice and smooth through both occurrences of the pattern in the 1st and 2nd position. Just want to drop in here real quick and tell you that the full version of this lesson is over at patreon.com/outsmartyourguitar. The link is down in the description. Go on over, you can join for free and have access to a number of lessons which will include the written material. Then you can become a full patron by subscribing at one of 3 levels and gain access to a whole host of material that is not featured here, expanded versions of material that is featured here, and all written lessons for every lesson that features them. So check it out and become a patron to outsmart your guitar. All right, back to the lesson. All right, we've added a 3rd pattern. So, first pattern, second. Now, as we've said previously, the tuning between the 3rd and the 2nd string is a major 3rd, so you have to shift up 1 fret when you move to the 2nd string, and that's your root, which is your first note of the pattern. Shift up 2 frets. It's the same 5 notes in all 3 positions. All right? So you practice that, smooth it out in the ascending. Now, descending, we play it backwards. Now, with the first finger, we shift back to the root to complete the pattern. Now, when you move to the 3rd string, you can go to your 2nd finger and go to your 1st finger to get back in line, or you can go right to your 3rd finger to stay in the same fingering all the way through. It's up to you. But you always shift back from the A to the root G. A, shift back to G. A, shift back to G. A, shift back to G. All right, just as you go G, shift up to the A, G, shift up to the A, G, shift up to the A. So what you want to do is practice this up and back. And here's where you should bring in the metronome to smooth it out and play nice and flowing and get these shift points smoothed out so that you can't really hear that you're shifting. It's just one nice, beautiful sound. Whoops. Okay, there we go. So the idea being that if you closed your eyes and listened, you wouldn't hear the shift. That's the ideal, all right? So take a couple of minutes and work this out. Time to bring the looper into play here. You've recorded the progression at a nice, comfortable tempo so that you can play over the top of it. And here's what you want to do. What you see on screen is exactly what you want to do, both ascending and descending, playing the pattern in the 3 positions, strictly adhering to only the notes of the pattern, ascending and descending, to get comfortable moving up and down the fretboard within the pattern, right? So you're applying the pattern and being very strict and disciplined in not doing anything but running the scale like this. And that's all I want you to do right now, just to help you get comfortable playing the pattern and moving it up the fretboard and down the fretboard and smoothing out those shift points so that you can't hear the shift taking place. 5 minutes. All right, you've run the pattern in 3 positions. Now, let's get melodic using just the notes of the pattern in the 3 positions, no other notes. You can change your fingering if you're going to stay positional. You can bend strings If it works, you can skip strings, you can jump positions, whatever you want to do, but only staying strictly within the notes of the three patterns and not deviating to notes elsewhere on the fretboard. All right? So this is what you're going for. 3, 4. The idea here is, because of these limitations, it forces you to really examine everything available to you and how you might apply it in ways you might not have otherwise considered if you just approached this the way you would normally approach playing. And so that's the idea, is to stretch your brain by making you really look at what you have to work with and see what is possible within those limitations. All right? So spend about 5-10 minutes or so and really explore what it is you may be able to do. You'll find it's pretty cool. It bears repeating that if you follow the program that I'm laying out here for you to work within the limitations that I'm imposing, you will actually benefit, because it forces you to look at just those 5 notes that you're playing in 3 different positions within the strictures of the pattern a different way than you might otherwise have done. This is how you get beyond the same old, by doing something different than you are accustomed to doing. Looking at notes that you're using and really examining different ways to put them together to create your melodic ideas, but staying within the limitations forces you to really take measures and approaches you wouldn't have otherwise considered, right? And that's the whole idea. So do this 10 minutes, maybe more, and really apply yourself. Close off the world and focus on this, and see that you don't find something new. I know you will. And that's the idea, right? All right. Thank you very much for letting me be your teacher. Thank you for spending the time learning what I have to offer. It really does mean the world to me that you spend the time here learning what I have to show you, that you really want to know, right? All right. You take care, and we'll see you soon.